everyone, welcome to my channel. And my question today is, I'm sharing with you, did Michael Stackpole confirm Corran Horn will now be in the Disney Star Wars lore? So let's take a look at that. And before we move on to that and his conversation on Twitter that he did today, Corran Horn basically is a character that Stackpole created. And we first see him in the X-Wing novel series, and we get to know his arc here, that he's Jedi, that he comes from the Halcyon family of Corellia, and he meets Merrick's Tarek, and together later on they have Gisela and Valen Horn. And so it's a very unique arc here. There's many people that love this character as well, but we know when Disney starts inserting original EU lore characters into their lore, it's only name only and by looks only. Their development arc, their experiences, how they got from A to B, everything that we know and love of them doesn't exist anymore. So they should just basically create their own characters, invent their own lore behind those characters, and expand it that way, instead of trying to recreate these characters by name only to try to pacify us EU fans. And that's how I see it, as pacifying us EU fans. It's basically, and I've said this in the past video before, it's like slapping us in the face. Oh, we don't want your lore anymore. We want to have creative freedom, do what we want, make our own characters, our own lore off of the movies. Fine, sure. But then they go ahead and start cherry picking and bringing in these beloved characters, because all of a sudden they say, oh, we're going to honor these characters. We're going to bring them in and we're going to honor them. Bringing them in is not honoring their true nature, that how they were originally created. And so I do question Michael Stackpole for basically, kind of celebrating or not caring, or I don't know what the word would be, but allowing, maybe, I don't know, but celebrating, like I said, I don't know. But, I don't agree with him on rejoicing, basically. There we go. Of Corran Horn being inserted into this. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I made this little slide here. It's easier to present. So basically, this young Corran right here, who is a force sensitive human male, he lived on his planet Dayu, and he was fleeing from the Inquisitors, or the possibility of being hunted down. And basically, someone, basically that Haja, or whatever his name is, helped him and his mom get onto a ship, which is taking them to Corellia. And well, they're supposed to make it to Corellia, but basically I think they made it to Jabim or something. I don't know exactly. I'm not following it too much. But people got excited because they're like, this young boy's name is Corran, and he's about the same age as Corran Horn from the original lore, which I said basically 18 BBY is when is dated for his birth on Corellia. However, this character, Corran Horn, basically lived on the planet Dayu. It's not saying where his home planet is just yet. So let's get into this as well. So this is the conversation that was created here on Twitter today. And basically we had, someone tweet about, and this all goes into the excitement about the reimagined novels having of X-Wing series being renamed to Rogue Squadron series from X-Wing series, which I do not agree with, and then the new covers and other things. So the person's excited, and this is what this person says, and then Michael Stackpole basically responds to that. Still one of my favorite book series with Corran Horn, my favorite character in Star Wars. Very disappointed that the Rogue Squadron movie is not based upon these book. And we already know that that's what Patty Jenkins sends, and Michael Stackpole basically confirms this. And I don't know the state of Rogue Squadron. I think it's still in limbo on if actually it's going to still be produced and not. I don't know. So he says Patty Jenkins has said that the X-Wing novels are the foundation for her movies. So foundation. So meaning she's cherry picking, she's getting examples, and she's using it because when you read the series and you know the series, and of course it's a beloved one, everybody loves the series, the X-Wing series. Michael Stackpole and Ellen Alston basically did very well with the series. And they're cherry picking, so it's not going to be the same, because the lore from Disney Star Wars versus the lore from George Lucas era are completely different. And I'll be playing a clip, and we'll break that down, the differences with that, when I play a audible clip from the Kaito's trap. And so basically, he says, "Don't be donning your sad rags too soon." And then the person responds, "Okay, but don't trust Hollywood. Trust Hollywood. I would be amazed if certain Jedi to be was included in the movie." So basically, I went over this right here. So again, he's excited that Patty Jenkins is using examples or has read or is using the storyline to create the show, which again, I said, it seems like it's in limbo right now. We don't know what's going on with it as of yet. And so he basically responds, Michael says, "I don't know. He's thriving in Obiwan Kenobi's, so we'll see." So is this a confirmation right here? What do you guys think? Do you think that he knows something we don't know? Or do you think that because that name was mentioned, that he is just hopeful that he'll show up? And what do you think about that with an author like, you know, seeing their character changed? If they bring in Corran Horn in, maybe they're giving him money. So who knows with that? So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And then so J Core, many of you guys may have seen him, me and him respond back and forth sometimes talking about the lore. He responds to Michael as, "This one of my favorite EU novels, and Corran Horn is one of my favorite characters." So he's talking about I Jedi from the pictures here. "But I am a fan of all of Corran's arc, and Disney has made it very clear that we won't be seeing the respected Jedi Master and New Jedi Order Council member, father, and husband that we had, and that makes me sad." So he's basically letting him know, if you're allowing him to change, but you're happy, you're celebrating that he might possibly be in the new lore now. However, you're going to change the character, so he's not going to be recognizable only by look and name, basically. And Michael responds to him and says, "Have you missed the fact that Corran is in Obiwan Kenobi?" Again, another response to that. This is twice within the same time frame. So again, does he know something we don't know? And is this a good thing? And I'll go over that here soon. And then another person that I follow, or respond on Twitter and talk about the lore with, is he responds to Michael with, and this is Nolan, he responds to Michael with a character named Corran. There isn't room for actual Corran in the Disney timeline. And that is true. There is no room for him in that timeline. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video or listen to it. We're going to break it down. And again, this is from the X-Wing series, the Kaito's Trap. And this also involves Corran Horn. He's introduced first in the very first one called Rogue Squadron. And this one is where he gets captured. And there's a lot of fun stuff that happens in these novels, a lot of fun details, and I highly recommend the X-Wing series novels and try to get them without the Legends label. So let's go ahead and take a look at this this clip here that I have for you guys. Now I'm going to keep the overlay over, but we're going to go ahead and take a listen to this, and I'm going to pause. I'm going to break things down, go over it, and then go from there.
People, I can assure you that would have caused problems. If you want to play at politics, Antilles, I would welcome you onto my battlefield. I don't want to play at anything, thank you. Anger began to build in Wedge, but before he could give it vent, he felt the weight of a hand on his shoulder. As stars live and die, I didn't think you'd be here, Luke. The tow-headed Jedi Knight enfolded Wedge's hand in a firm grip, then pulled him forward into a backslapping hug. I wouldn't have missed it for all the Tabana gas on Beastman. I was late because I've been studying the Jedi exhibits your man found in the Galactic Museum.
Now I want to go over that. So this is a small clip here, and we hear the banter between Felia and Wedge Antilles. And again, if you're not familiar with these novels, I highly recommend you read them. Amazing novels. And so we have Luke going to the celebration of of Corran living, and some of the some of the gains that I guess they made against Lusankia and stuff like that, and bringing back Coruscant from the attack that was happening. Basically, they liberated Coruscant, but that's not the point here. And so we have Luke saying, I am looking over the stuff that your man Corran found. And so we know at this time frame that Luke is out looking to rebuild the order, looking for archives and anything that can help him rebuild the new order. In the new lore, he does similar things that's still not expanded on, but the thing is that once he decides to recreate the Jedi Order, which is years later, so it's not the same timeline, it basically gets knocked down, defeated by Palpatine. Basically that's what we discovered, or that was what was revealed by Disney Star Wars lore. And Corran Horn can't exist in that because there's no Jedi Masters. By the time Luke's Jedi Order is defeated in the Disney lore, there are no Jedi Masters whatsoever. They're all young Padawans, from what I understand. And so he, maybe a couple of knights, who knows, but there's no Masters. He's the only Master. So let's go ahead and listen some more.
Museum. Wedge nodded. Corran mentioned he'd found quite a haul. He said it was rather macabre. Luke Skywalker nodded solemnly. As the Jedi in there were hunted down, the Emperor defaced their monuments. There's enough evil there to be palpable, but I think things can be set to rights again. I was hoping you'd introduce me to this Corran Horn.
All right. So again, when Corran was fleeing from his capture, he did find a little bit of like an archived hidden area where Palpatine collected all of as much Jedi artifacts he could find. He housed them because that's the kind of person he was. If you look back in the lore, he also collected a lot of Sith archives and artifacts and all this other stuff. And of course, he defaced some, but he basically hoarded them. Corran found them, which was a great thing for Luke and stuff, but he also found out about his own legacy, his only family history through this. And so let's go ahead and take a listen.
Horn. Gladly. Wedge caught Corran's eye and waved him over. Corran headed in their direction with Mirax on his arm and Clarence Herf following them like a shadow. Luke Skywalker, it is an honor to present to you Lieutenant Corran Horn, Mirax Tarek, and Clarence Herf. This is Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and founder of Rogue Squadron. Corran smiled and shook Luke's hand. I'm very pleased to meet you, sir. One of the first things Commander Antilles ever said to me was that I was no Luke Skywalker. You set a very high standard for all of us to shoot for. Luke smiled. Not my intention, but I'm not averse to being used as a motivational tool.
All right, so what I remember in my research with how Rogue Squadron is founded in the Disney lore, Wedge and Luke did not or never, created the Rogue Squadron together. So again, this wouldn't fit exactly in the new lore, even if Patty Jenkins does use this or whatever, it doesn't fit in the lore. And if she tries to put that in there, then what's going to happen is that they're going to break their own continuity, which we already know they do that already. And we have a lot of these new Disney fans who don't care about continuity. And so they don't care. So they're catering to this kind of people. But however, inserting these EU characters into their lore is another way of, breaking continuity and hurting the lore, because these people don't fit. Their background doesn't align with it. And it doesn't fit seamlessly in the story, where I always say, why don't you just create your own new character, your own new storyline, make it exciting, but with what you want, or what they want to do for their lore. And so what they were talking about is the training module that Luke used while he was training before he, got into the X-Wing. And they test him on their endurance, their speed, their reflex, all of that. And basically Luke, as a foundling, a new foundling or a force user or whatever you want to call it, he had those quick reflexes because of the innate ability, force sensibilities, instincts, I guess you can say. And so they used his record as a guideline to test people, and Rogue Squadron basically was the top tier squadron ever. They created a lot of, they had a great reputation. So let's go ahead and listen some more.
Tool. From within his cloak, Luke withdrew a slender cylinder and held it out to Corran. This belongs to you, I believe. No, sir, I returned it to the museum, and the Jedi credit, too. What I mean, Lieutenant Horn, is that this lightsaber belongs to you. They're often passed down from one family member to another. Corran frowned. That lightsaber belonged to a Jedi named Nija Halcyon. It should go to his family. So it shall, Luke insisted. Nija Halcyon was your grandfather.
All right. So in the storyline so far, we know that they were living on Daya. There's no birth planet there, but they're living on that new planet Daya. And there's no way that this history could be inserted in the lore here, because of the fact that during the time frame of him and his mom, they were already settled and never had ran from the empire when Corran was little. They were well protected by his father, who was adopted Horn. And so we're going to get into more of the history right now. So let's take a listen.
He wasn't. My grandfather was Rostek Horn. He worked for the Corellian security force. He wasn't a Jedi. He once partnered with one, liaised with him so Corsac could work with the Jedi on Corellia. But that was it. Your father was Hal Horn? Luke's voice remained even. Yes. And his given name was Valen Horn? Yes, but everyone called him Hal. Corran blinked. You don't think that's short for Halcyon, do you? What I think, Corran, is that Nija Halcyon died in the Clone Wars, and his friend, Rostek Horn, was there to support Nija's widow and son through the tragedy. Rostek married your grandmother and adopted your father. When the Emperor began to hunt down the Jedi and kill them, Rostek Horn, given his position in Corsac, managed to change records so that Nija's family was hidden from Imperial scrutiny. Luke pressed the lightsaber into Corran's hand and closed his fingers around the shaft. You may consider finding this lightsaber a coincidence or luck, but there's no such thing. I'll have you know that of the other 24 lightsabers in those rooms, only 3 worked without recharging.
All right, so you have it. So there's a history of Corran Horn, and so basically his family was hidden away from the Empire so that they wouldn't get hunted down by their Jedi killers, basically the Inquisitors. And yes, there was Inquisitors back in time as well. Very different. They were changed up again through Filoni, and maybe one day I'll do a video on that. And so we have the history there. And from what it seems like and what it looks like from what is revealed with that kid named Corran, it's not going to fit. It's not going to be the same character. If it's really Corran Horn, the experiences that he's getting in the new lore is not the Corran Horn that we know and love here. So what do you guys think with this? Do you agree? As an EU fan, do you think that this is something that celebrates us and celebrates and gives us something to look forward to and a nod to us? Or do you think this is like a slap in the face? As you guys know, you know my opinion about this already. They might as well make a whole new character, a whole new background, and go from there. Because again, like I said, it's a slap in the face. It doesn't honor, because honoring the character means that's keeping the story and the experience of this character intact, and that's impossible for this timeline, because it's totally different. That you have the High Republic, which changes the hyperspace and hyperspace travel significantly as well. And you also have instances on how Yoda is being treated as a failure early on. And there's so many that we can just break down here. Maybe one day I'll do a video on that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And let me know, are you excited? Are you not excited? Do you feel like this is just an insult to the characters and even to Michael Stackpole, even though maybe he feels it's okay? What do you think about that? If he feels it okay, what are your thoughts about that as well? I have so many questions about that. So share with me in the comments below. Make it civil. And I shall talk with you later. May the force be with you.